And that line from Kerwin Dubois, I don't need to follow no crowd to make my family proud, a good so. I think is a perfect segue into this conversation, the art exhibit series on now, collaboration with the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago. We are speaking with Christiane Lucas, marching to the beat of her own drum. She's proud to define herself as an artist, and she's joining us now to speak a little bit about her journey, inspirations, and the unwavering mission that you're following through your art. Thank you so much for your time, Christiane. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Happy to be here.
Lovely. Likewise. Now tell me a little bit about yourself, please, because it seems as though art is something that you have been interacting with from a very early time.
Yes. So I started art before I was in school, and when I was in school, I learned about painting, and I haven't stopped since then. So.
Now, you said that your mom used to, this is you following your mom?
Yes. Well, she taught me how to draw a stick man, and it started from there.
That's the most important
yes.
thing. Because Lucozade, not much more than sticks.
Listen, yeah.
But even looking at it, how important is it that there's that level of engagement, speaking with your mom, that learning, spending time with her, and saying, okay, well, there's that kind of support from there?
Yeah, well, I got greater support from my parents, and then art teachers, and go on throughout the years. And now I join Art Society, and I get a lot of support there also.
And one of the reasons I want to ask about that support is because sometimes somebody will be drawing,
right.
Somebody will be involved in art, and then you find somebody, okay, wait, so okay, this is what you're doing, but what you want to do.
Right. So in school, you know, doing art, everybody was like, you can't make a career out of it, and you would think differently with it. It is true in terms of thinking differently, but it is for the best. I learned to incorporate business and art, currently in marketing right now. So, yeah.
But tell me a little bit about that now, because some people might say that art is art and business is business. How do you connect those dots?
I have learned to combine it in terms of seeing things differently, you know, creating art, finding the creative. So I love what I do. When I get up, I'm like, okay, I'm passionate about art, I'm passionate about what I do, and it's very important to do something that you're passionate about. So you'd get up in the morning, you know, and you would go. So.
And who do you think about when you're going to create a piece? Because then, is it that I think that somebody will like this, I think this will be sold, or is this,
no.
this is what I'm feeling right now?
It's more of a personal thing. So most of my art is inspired by worship music. They produce out of worship music, and I get peace out of it. So, yeah.
Is there a certain type of music that you say worship music? Is it an artist
so
that
gospel. General base. Once I get peace within it. Yeah.
Tell me about the importance of coconuts.
So I've been obsessed with it since I was in school, and there is so much perspective that a lot of people don't know about in terms with color, texture, size, shape, and yeah, I just tried to venture it in my art.
But even like looking at the history of your affinity for just looking at that texture, and you said that an artist's brain might move a little differently. What are some of those things you see in terms of like the spaces between people say, well, a coconut is a coconut?
We kind of see things in terms, well, with me, I kind of break the rules, right? So in some of my pieces with the coconuts, I would choose different colors to give it perspective, or be like, not the normal. I would show, okay, this could happen. You could use this color, you could use this tone. I would kind of break the rules in art. So, yeah.
It's good to be able to know the rules so that you can break them as well, so you achieve what you want to. Say, like, normally we mightn't do this, but at the same time, but we're talking about coconuts, and I think let's start to talk about the work a little bit. So we'll start with you describing the piece that's closest to me. Thank you.
Okay. So the first piece is the abandoned leper's house on the islands, and it is basically using color of greens, textures, and I vanish it, so you kind of get a reflection. And again, I did something different with the water. We could see texture, it's not normal. And I actually visited this place, and it was after that I painted it. So it was by visiting that I painted it. So.
And that brings me to asking, so this is something that is outside of coconuts, but at the same time, what inspires you to say, okay, well, is it that you need to see something? Is it that you need to hear about it in conversation?
Well, it depends. If I visit a place, I will feel inspired and I'll get home and paint it. If I hear someone talking about it, I'll do research and also paint it. So it kind of depends, you know.
All right, and you tell me a little bit about the next one, thank you, in terms of
Right.
Trinidad landscape.
So the next one is Trinidad landscape. This one is paint out a vision. It is to transport the viewer to tranquility and beauty. The sand is golden. You know, there's 2 coconut trees. I love the beach, so it's tranquil. It brings me peace, and yeah.
And what media do you normally articulate your work?
So I usually use acrylic paints. I want to go into oil paints, but most of my pieces are acrylic or water-based.
And what is it about them?
It's very bright and vibrant, and I like colors.
And so is it a different technique that you'll be using for oil, saying that you want to go into it?
I have not ventured because I need to get patience in order to get it to dry because it takes a longer process than acrylic paints. So I would like to venture into oil paint soon.
And looking at the significance of the Art Society of Trinidad and Tobago, how important is that to you and your development as an artist?
It's very important. At the beginning of 2023, one of my goals is to take my art seriously. And I joined Art Society, and every time they had an exhibition, you know, that I'd enter, I'd see different artists' work, and it is inspiring seeing other people producing work. It's inspiring, you know. So I paint, I get inspiration, so it's been a big help for me.
Tropical symmetry, what's that about?
Right, so tropical symmetry now is also different perspective on coconuts, using bright colors, using different tones, using textures, and I also put a plant in the middle there to include nature. Yeah.
And then we see a close-up shot of it.
Yes.
And it's really interesting the way that it makes you think of the coconut as just being more than what we might look at first blush.
Yeah. So they are placed on boxes, so it's kind of elevated and at different angles.
And the next one is not coconut. The next one is Harmony of Her, I believe.
Yes, so this was an experimental piece. Rotunda had something for women. They invest in women. I decided to experiment. It's abstract and regular. So there's a woman standing at the front, and behind you could see women faces along with balloons, celebration, diverse, you know. It includes the importance of how valuable a woman is in society and the diversity of them, but they are important.
And the amount of things that are contained within.
Yes.
And that I think that brings us to the last piece in terms of coconut kaleidoscope.
Yes. Coconut kaleidoscope. So this is the second piece. The first one would have been tropical symmetry. This one is more vibrant. I use varnish to flush it with, so it's kind of reflective. This one had some boxes, but it's on a table at front and a box behind. It's more in terms with cutting the coconut in half, the perspective of when the coconut is open, different textures. Mostly use yellows and greens in this piece. And I love to shatter a piece, hence the lines running through the piece.
And we have about a minute before we end the conversation. What is the main mission of your art? What do you hope to do with it, and how can people contact you for more?
Right. So I do hope to paint more. Some of these pieces will be in an exhibition called New Faces at Horizons in June. It's free to the public, and I do plan on doing more murals for businesses to reach out to them and just to get my art out there a little more, you know, putting myself out there. And my marketing handles are Island Palette on Instagram.
And I really like that aspect of saying, okay, well, the corporate, and especially people who want to celebrate us and who we are as a people, and just looking at the work that you're doing. So we want to say congratulations to you for making it this far, and the fact that you're continuing in spite of marching to your beat, and the fact that you're supported both by family members, by the Art Society, is also something to be appreciated. Christiane Lucas, we want to thank you so much for making the time, and we want to thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned to the Now Morning Show. We come back with more after this.